Hello, we're here again. We're doing this again. One could say we're resetting again. This is the reset. This is the so so um I guess you can understand what we're going to talk about today. What we'll be talking about today, and that is the Great Reset theory, the Great Reset conspiracy theory that Con Inc. loves to push, Conservative Inc., Convict. What are they called? Con Inc., right? So anyways, what is the Great Reset? Well, this kind of... So basically the backstory is, for years and years and years, conservatives have been telling us how, not just, I mean, there's like liberals as well, but I don't know, conservatives who constantly tell us about how the, about how the left is, pushing, the elites and the left are pushing, degeneracy. They're pushing, fat acceptance. They're pushing, all these things, right? They're pushing, degenerate music. They're pushing degenerate, Hollywood trash. They're pushing, they're pushing, they're pushing all this stuff, right? They're shoving cheeseburgers down your throat, right? They're promoting all these unhealthy lifestyles. They're promoting pornography. They're promoting, sexual degeneracy and hedonism, and they're trying to destroy the, nuclear family and, that kind of thing. But then COVID happens, and then we're told that wait for this, that the global elites, those same global elites, want to force lockdowns on you. Eternal lockdowns. Never-ending lockdowns. They want to keep you inside your home. Now, so on one hand, liberal elites are pushing fat acceptance and shoving hamburgers, cheeseburgers down your throat, and now they're banning you from entering restaurants. Well, I guess that's the line of thinking, right? They're like shutting down restaurants, they're shutting shopping malls down, they're shutting down movie theaters, and now global elites don't want you, right? They don't want you to they don't want you to have freedom. They're taking your freedom away. Now they don't want you to go visit those concerts to see the degenerate music. Now they don't want you to go visit strip clubs. Now they don't want you to go to 7-Eleven and McDonald's. Now they before it was they're pushing obesity, and they're pushing, by the way, they're also pushing you to eat bugs, right? They're pushing fat acceptance, and they're pushing, obesity, and, they're pushing cheeseburgers and chocolate and all this crap, but they're also pushing, bugs, right? So on one hand, they want you to eat all this, steak and all this, fatty foods. But on the other hand, they want to, eternally lock you down and preventing you from getting takeout food and preventing you from going to Walmart and McDonald's, right? On the other hand, they want you to eat the bugs instead of eating the steak, right? Oh, and then another thing too is they were like, look, they're shutting down churches, and I'm like, no conservatives affected. No, because conservatives don't go to church. Your favorite conservative influencers never go to church. Well, that's not true. They go to tell you how awesome the architecture is. Because that's what church is to conservatives. The most important thing about church is the architecture, right? It's not a place of worship. It's not a place to go and build community bonds and get a closer connection with God and that kind of thing, and understand and practice your faith and pray and blah blah. No. And hear the sermons and for the gospel and the word of Christ to be spread. No. It's the architecture. How beautiful the architecture is. Like, it's just like it's always funny how conservatives will go to church, take pictures inside the church at best, and there's nobody ever there, right? There's nobody there. There's never anybody there, right? It's always just like, look at me, I'm wandering inside, right? It's just ridiculous, right? It's like if Paul Joseph Watson actually ever went into the church, he would he would burst into flames. Like, you're more likely to see Count Dracula at a church than you are to see Sargon of Akkad, right? You're more likely to see Richard Dawkins in a church than Sargon, right? It's just ridiculous stuff. But this is what they do, right? This is what they do. It's a never-ending crapola fest for conservatives. But it's the Great Reset, right? It's the new, our liberal elites are pushing degeneracy, materialism, consumerism. They want you to be fat and happy so that you never, ever criticize the elites. But also, the Great Reset is happening, and the elites want to ban you from going to all those places, right? You can't go shopping in shopping malls. You can't go to restaurants. You can't eat your sugary foods. And I understand, fair enough. A lot of these things, you can do inside your home. So I've been told. I've never watched pornography, and I've never watched. No. I'm a good trad cat. I would never watch. No. It's what I've been told, right? It's what I've been told. So I would never do that. But still, it's the weird kind of thing about it. It's the weird, pushing in this stuff. And then there's the whole, died suddenly thing. There's the whole, by the way, if you want to prevent, you don't need a global pandemic to prevent, conservatives from going to church, okay? You just need a Sunday, right? That's all you need. Just hit Sunday and you won't see many of them. If you want to get away from conservatives, if you don't there's too many conservatives in your area, you can rest assured you won't find many of them at church, right? You won't find many of them at church. Yeah. Yeah, it's never conservatives never talk about my church. It's always the church, right? So then there's the whole died suddenly thing. And without evidence at all, conservatives will spread. They'll just take anytime someone dies at all. Get a heart attack, oh, there must be the vaccine. Get hit by a train, must be the vaccine. Look, how do we know black crime exists? How do we know how do we know Islamic terrorism happens? Maybe just the vaccine, right? I don't know, must be vaxxed, right? Died suddenly. This is what they don't want you to know about, right? And it just, without evidence, they never retract it, right? It's just why are all these young people dying? Well, must just be the vaccine. That's Klaus Schwab's thing, man. He just wants everybody to die of the vaccine, right? It's just so ridiculous. And then there's the belief of did COVID even happen, right? It's because what they did was, during COVID, there was these stupid things. These Tik Tok Nurses, where during it, nurses made videos after they had like a long, grueling day of work, which I can imagine how brutal it was, right? It's must be insane and scary and terrifying because you don't know how bad the disease is at this point. Like I still don't think we really know. Like it's an impossible situation. So they were doing these stupid kind of videos, and they went viral on TikTok. And guess what Paul Joseph Watson and all those people said? COVID? Is it global pandemic or global plandemic, right? And it's like, and that's what they'll do, right? They'll do so now. Like nobody is dying via COVID. Like, it's like, well, COVID is COVID is just like the flu, but does COVID even exist? Just and that's and it's like that's how conservatives operate. These conspiracy theories are like they'll take something that like doesn't make much sense. Oh, this is like okay, that's a little whatever, and they'll take it to like gaslight you. So that didn't actually happen. There was no global pandemic, right? It's we should close the borders to it's like the conservatives went from we should close the borders to prevent immigrants from bringing COVID into America to China is lying about how many COVID deaths there are to China needs to answer for right? It's like China needs to answer for how COVID got out of the was a lab leak, and COVID was a bioweapon, right? It's like COVID was a bioweapon. They also said like China was doing good things about COVID, right? It's like I wish our leaders were like the Chinese, right? Like who are like locking everybody down and forcing everybody inside and in public, shooting people who, and arresting people, and you'll never see them ever again who break COVID rules. It's like COVID's a bioweapon, right? That was invented by the Chinese to like murder like white people or something. I think that was like what RFK said, or whatever. COVID was a bioweapon. To also, COVID is just like the flu, right? To COVID, did that happen? Did that even happen? Because last I checked, Tik Tok Nurses, right? Yeah, they also said like only VTR said that or an article said like only like white people can get COVID. Basically, I think it was like white people in like Southeast Asians or whatever. It was like only whites could get COVID. So whites are immune to COVID, but COVID's a bioweapon to kill white people. Makes a lot of sense, right? But they did this with the Ukraine war too, right? It was like videos emerged of like Ukrainian women, military women, like dancing or whatever. So they're like, must be right, and they'll show like pictures of like Ukrainians in McDonald's or Ukrainians in a nightclub, and it wasn't even Ukrainians, it was like in the Czech Republic. But they're like, and the implication usually is like war in the Ukraine. Do we really need to donate money to the Ukraine? This doesn't look like a war zone to me. We don't need to give any money to the Ukraine. They seem perfectly fine to me, right? That's the implication being